Okay, let's go ahead and get started. It is 6:12 p.m. on September the 10th. Trying to give you guys a few more minutes so you guys can join in. I sent out the announcement yesterday for those who had questions regarding their assignments. And so today we're going to go ahead and do a quick recap. We're going to be recording this session, so we'll be on YouTube. So you'll be able to find it on YouTube on my channel. I'll also be posting the link on the upcoming week 3 lecture and the announcements. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, we're gonna do a quick recap, and then we'll follow up on those questions that we're being requested to have a little bit of a clarification. So we're gonna recap from the very beginning, which is chapter 1 and chapter 2. Had a question regarding the pictures, how to set the pictures into the coding. And right at the very beginning of chapter 1, there's figure 1.2 that shows a brief explanation of how to reference a picture. Please go back to that, and if not, then what's the strong to suggest to go to W3 schools, go to HTML. The HTML, let me see if I can share the screen. I'll be sharing the screen from here on. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and show you all on W3 schools exactly what I'm talking about. All right, here in W3 schools, HTML, basic information. We're talking about how here you can use this as a reference or as an additional information how to create HTML code. Specifically here on HTML, you'll find tutorials. Next, people having issues creating an HTML file, an actual listing that was on 1.1 at the very beginning. So once again, we're going to come back to HTML editors on W3 schools as an additional resource. And here it listed several ways you can start writing HTML coding. It is very important that you follow this these procedures here. Without any of these tags, it would not compile. Without the doc type HTML, without the opening tags, and without the closing tags, it will not either show off. Another very important thing is any of these files, it must end with HTML. So clearly you can see you'll be able to see that index.html will let you able to access the resources through the web page. Next question had regarding infinity free. Remember, folks, you're not entitled to. We are entitled to use any other resources you have available. My personal favorite was infinity free, being that it has a built-in FTP server. It has there we are. All right, it has a built-in FTP server. Once again, if I go into my account, and I'll go to File Manager. Once I've created the account, this is my label. This is the File Manager. Any and all HTML files will be nested in here. It's htdocs, not here. We're going to click on htdocs. Here we're going to go ahead and get started. your first week's assignment was going to be index HTML.1, index HTML. If there is already a file here, you may have to delete it prior to continuing and inserting your own index HTML. If you have two index HTMLs, you will get an error. If you have to just capitalize, you'll get an error. If you have a space in between, you will get an error. So you must abide by the naming convention listed here to enable to view your whatever is on the HTML document. The first HTML document was was your hello world file. So under index HTML, I'm expecting to see the hello world on your front end. I have went along and I created my next naming conventions for my next files, and I will show you later on how to process them. Okay. Remember, folks, you must be book says otherwise to be on HTML not requiring for you to use closing text. I urge you to keep using closing text for the remainder of the semester, due to this is a learning class, and so therefore you must be able to keep track of what text you start opening, what text you start closing. Another question I had about semantics. Semantics meaning your header, semantics meaning your body and your footer. The book explains explicitly some of these semantics on how to open and close tags. Let's go over to the first page. So first, okay. Yes, it is a little slow while I'm running all these programs at the same time. Okay. Okay, so we won't waste any time. Yes, please overview figure 2.4. It would outline the semantics of a page. If you have any issues beyond that you need external resources, once again, use W3 Schools and follow up on the tab that says HTML semantics. Coming up to this last week's or this current week's agenda, or the coursework requirements for week 2. Here we're going to use lesson 8, which is a use of web colors, starting on page 193 on your book. There is some sample code on page 197 regarding how to use sample code for backgrounds. Remember, folks, we're using hex code. On the video on the lab assignment, I mentioned that there is a website you can use. It's a hex color picker. You can Google it, hex color picker on Google, and it'll give you any and all samples of the coding that you would use to enable color on background, color on text, and it's on borders and etc. Okay. The reason we are mentioning that I'm not using CSS is regarding the fact that CSS stands for cascading style sheets. And in fact, we are not using cascading style sheets. However, we are using inline style sheets or inline style programming. And that is basically with the use with the open and closing tags of the style. Let me show you guys how. See, week 2, what I'm requesting. Yes, whenever you want to add style such as color, in other words, CSS regards this particular styling feature as CSS. I don't want to say the book is wrong, but the way we are enabling the particular features of CSS in our code under HTML, because we're not using CSS styling sheets. We are using inline styling code. So for instance, whenever we want to add styling via style here, as mentioned, we're adding the color pink to our text. So yes, we are adding CSS styling features into our HTML document via inline styles. Not necessarily a CSS, which is cascading style sheet, which is altogether a separate document. All right, hope we clarified that. If not, we urge you to go to W3 Schools HTML styles, and it'll give you more in-depth information regarding that. Next, I had a question regarding images. Once again, refer to figure 1.2 or figure 8.11. And it gives you in-depth detail regarding the coding. And mentioned somebody else had issues with the alignment. Refer to page 221 regarding alignments. Last but not least, here we're looking at lesson number 9, which is all about divs. The assignment for week 2, it was a little bit premature. The way I've requested for you guys to work on the assignment. I failed to mention that any of and all information that you're going to be learning, these tools are going to be compiling. So I have extended the week 2 lab assignment for the 16th. In conjunction with week 3 lab assignment, have taken into consideration the density of information to take in and incorporate into your coding. So therefore, I have created or customized your week 3 assignment to be much easier than your typical week 3 assignment as posed in the textbook. Therefore, once again, I'm going to ask you guys to keep a lookout on the announcements and on the module itself regarding due dates. As it stands right now, everything from week 1 to week 3 is all due on the 16th. Please do not procrastinate. I received a lot of emails and messages yesterday. On weekends, I typically do not answer emails or messages. Typically, my work office hours are on Mondays between 6 and 7. I will open up another virtual meeting to assist with any of the questions. So please have them on hand and ready. And please do not wait till Friday afternoon or Saturday evening or Saturday night at 11:50 to address those issues. So that was lesson 8 and lesson 9 for week 2. I will create a new video system, and for lessons and lectures for upcoming week is going to be lesson 6 and lesson 7. We're going to go into more in-depth regarding font sizes, special characters, alignments, lists, and tables. And with those two upcoming tools, will help you complete your week 2 assignment as it stands. Also, stay tuned that we have a small 2 pages from chapter 7 that we'll be reviewing on your upcoming lecture, which will help you hone your skills on linking pages between your website. Also, the upcoming lab will be a resume. So I am going to ask everybody to tune in to the video instruction for your lab as well. and gonna be outlining in specific detail of exactly what we're gonna request for the lab assignment for week 3. It is 6:27. I believe I have not received any other invitation or any other students. Okay, just to cover once over what I am expecting for week 2. Week 2 lab assignment was gonna have this right here. Your 8.1 listing, 8.1 figure 8.2 highlights exactly what I'm requesting. And what I meant by inside styles, you will be required to create an inline style to add background color on particular divs. So I'm asking you all to create new divs or sections or place information in your header or in the body or in the footer, as mentioned in the semantics on chapter 2. Please review those again if you need to, in order for you all to be more familiar and incorporate the stylings into your sheets. That is all part of chapter 8 and chapter 9 and some of chapter 2. Once again, from top to bottom, reiterate, as I'm still holding this channel available for anybody that wishes to join us today. I have not received any requests. I have not received any invitation replies or anybody join the room. I have also not received any incoming messaging through Blackboard. Log back into Blackboard just to confirm that anybody has issues to have messaged me. In the meantime, I am scrolling through examples of mostly questions that can easily be right here. Here is your code for adding pictures. You may have to modify that to conform to your naming convention. Remember, it must all be lowercase and no spaces. And you must remember it from where you have it stored in your images folder, as I've requested y'all to create. If you have not done so already, please create an images folder where you're going to be replacing all your images. In the upcoming weeks, I'm going to have you all create an index page. So have you guys create something like this, where I've already included several styles of organizational tools you can use. One last thing here. Yes, I created this. Two questions that came up also was, one, if you're having issues if after you've already created and uploaded your index file, you may have to clear your cache in order for y'all to display it correctly. And then with that, you have to press Control, Shift, and Delete. And that clears your browser data. Clearing browser data in the last 24 hours will allow you to obtain a new cache from your website. There you go. And therefore be hopefully view the most updated version. I was looking into my images files here. Before I uploaded them, I renamed them into something more conventional and easier for me to remember. Therefore, I will encourage for y'all to do the same. I think this anyone. In the upcoming weeks, I will have you guys create your index page, be able to incorporate some of the techniques. Here I have my week 1 assignment, my week 2 assignment, my week 3 coming assignment. So with this week's skills in week 3, you'll have the you'll have learned enough to create this. I use PNGs that I've created. But I'll go over this on an upcoming lesson and lab assignment. Also, week 3, we're requiring the resume. I scaled it back from all design, stripped from all this design, and just have you guys practice on your fonts and on your alignments. This has not been aligned, but I do require for y'all to align yours. Week 4, not available. Okay, week 4 will be your index page renewed, and of course, parts. This week's assignment will be for y'all to introduce what your upcoming project will be. In this case, is welcome to your fishing lure shop. I've created some coding behind it. This is just the beginning stages with what we currently know how to do. With a little bit of JavaScript in there to create those interactive features. But this will progress into something once you acquired most skills to create a website from scratch will be put to the test in your final project. Okay, so it's 6:38. I said the meeting was going to be till 7, but I haven't had any questions to be able to address those and make that time. I've gone through my notes according to the questions that were sent in via messages. Going through the messages on Blackboard, no new messages as of 21 hours ago, since I had posted the message board for calling for a virtual meeting today. After this session, I will create a new virtual meeting for my office hour tomorrow between 6 and 7 p.m. If you still remain with questions, I would strongly urge you to attend that meeting. Otherwise, we'll ask you all to direct any and all questions regarding the assignments to our lab assistants. We have 3 lab assistants in our department, and I will be posting their information in the upcoming announcement with the full recording and transcript of this session. As of 6:42 p.m., I have not received any participation. I'll be concluding this meeting in order to set up your upcoming week 3 assignments.